Yahansee George. But the big thing is my last name, Nyghtstorm. Now, a lot of folks ask me, how did I get that name, Nyghtstorm? Well, let's just say I was 16 years old and I needed some money. And I don't know, Tony, I don't know if you know this story, but I needed some money and I wanted to buy myself a class ring and I wanted to pay for some senior dues. And I snuck out of my mother's house to a nightclub and I saw this dude dancing on the stage. And he had 100 women throwing him money. His name was White Knight. He had this long blonde hair. He wore these cowboy boots, and he was doing this thing. And I saw all these women throwing money at him, and I'm saying, I need to get some of that action. So I went up to him and I said, I want to join you. He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 19. I lied, I'm 16. And he said, if you know how to shake your butt, you can make a killing in this industry. And I said, well, I need some money, so I shook my butt, and people were asking me, what's your name? And I had a mask on, I had a cape on, I had some boots on. Remember, I'm 16 years old, and people were asking me, while I'm on stage shaking, they're like, what's your name? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a name. And this lady from the deepest part of the club, the dark part, a middle-aged lady said, Nyghtstorm. His name is Nyghtstorm because he's dark as night, and he could dance up a storm, and that young man know how to shake his money maker. So that's how I got the name Nyghtstorm, and it has stuck for all of these years because it made me feel empowered. As odd as it is, it made me feel empowered. Now, I really needed that empowerment because there were times in my life where circumstances and people took my power away. So, and I'm sure everybody has gone through that. Now, when I think about these times in my life, there are very, very good quotes that come to mind. And this is a good quote right here. Now, can everybody see this? Now, can everybody read with me? I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. How many people agree with that? Yeah. And that was by the incredible Stephen Covey. We're not a product of our circumstances because circumstances happen to us. But we determine who we become by the decisions that we make. Now, this is something I had to learn. Now, moving forward. 1985. This is a pivotal year in my life. Now, things weren't going good at home with mom and dad for a while. Matter of fact, mom and dad used to fight all the time, like cats and dogs. And dad left. And when I started looking like my father, and I was around in the 5th grade at this time, I started looking exactly like the man who used to beat her up all the time. So she had a serious axe to grind with him. But when I started looking like him, she started having an axe to grind with me. Unfortunately, this is what happens in families all the time, regardless of demographics, regardless of tax code, regardless of color of skin, regardless of religious affiliation. It's a reality. But in order to get a break from all the hell that was going on at home, my mother decided to send me to camp because she said she needed a break. So I went to camp and everything was fine, and I befriended a camp counselor. He was a very religious man, and he taught me how to canoe, he taught me how to survive in the wilderness, he taught me how to be a man. But on the last day of camp, on the very last day of 2 weeks of learning manhood, he put me in a cabin and he sexually assaulted me. I'll just say it, he raped me. Let's just be honest. And while he was doing it, like I said, he was a very religious man. And he said, this is what God wants. Don't fight this. Because the priest that did it to me 30 years ago told me the same thing. And priests do not lie. So, this is what was going on. And I formed in my mind, I named him the wicked man. And once he was done and I ran out of that cabin, and I quickly got on the bus. And we were leaving. I was the only kid in camp that was not happy, and I wasn't saying anything. And I went home, and I said to my father, and I called him, and I said, Dad, something bad happened to me at camp. And Mom is so upset because I look like you, I can't talk to her. I need you to come help me. So my father said, okay, son, I'll be there in 2 hours, because he lived in Birmingham, we were in Atlanta. He said, I'll be there in 2 hours. Well, 2 hours turned into 2 days. 2 days turned into 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 2 months. 2 months turned into too much time. I didn't give a damn anymore. Right. Okay? So, I had to go at it alone. And that is when I realized that I was abandoned. And the wicked man took my power from me, 1985. But there is a saying that goes with every aspect of my life, because powerful people say powerful things. And this jumps up to me. Can everybody see this? Mm-hmm. Okay, can we read it together? The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. That's by Alice Walker. I felt that I did not have power because Mom and Dad are arguing. I was not important enough for them to stop. I got raped at camp by a camp counselor, and Dad abandoned me. Moving on.